Alright, people, Legal Elbow Radio in the house. We are back. Bringing it home. MMA Aftermath in the house on Facebook. Check out MMA Aftermath on Facebook, man. What is going on, Dan?
What is up, people? Back over here on Spreaker after one hell of a fine weekend.
Amazing weekend, man. Amazing weekend happening on UFC 168, man. I did not expect anything like this. Obviously, nobody expected it, but I'm sure the majority of people expected an Anderson Silva win. You know, the belt's coming back home, you know, that kind of a deal. I think we got what we expected with a Miesha Tate fight. You know, we'll run down all those in depth, but to kick things off, man, I want to let you guys know, LegalElbowRadio.com, LegalElbow.com, whatever. Like I said, MMA Aftermath on Facebook. Go over there, add him as a friend, take a look. Lots of great news, great stuff on Detroit fighters. We are in the Detroit area, so just so you guys know, any Detroit-based fighters, enthusiasts, get in touch with us, man. Come on the show, talk to us, whatever. We use Skype for this show, so if you guys want to jump on that way, get in touch with us, man. LegalElbow@hotmail.com. You can contact us there. We're also on Twitter, Legal Elbow. Geez, man, what else? Twitter, Google Plus. Google Plus is one of the avenues to get a hold of us. I think a Legal Elbow on Google Plus. LegalElbow.com is a good place to get a hold of us, too. You can make comments, shit over there. Quick note before we get into 168 and we get a word from Dan here. Quick note, 2014, we're going to start it right here on Spreaker, is, we're going to have
new home.
Our new home, man, our new home. We've had enough of Blog Talk Radio, man. This is the second time we got majorly screwed by them guys. And, quite frankly, man, I've had enough. How do you go and you pay for something and you get screwed with it? You know what I mean?
I'm fucking a Christmas show, you know.
Yeah, Christmas Eve, we're in the midst of a show and we get screwed. We got 15 minutes left to go. A special guest is calling into the show. And we get screwed. It's like, okay, $40 a month? I don't think this is worth it. Why even bother? You know what I mean? And it's like, it's totally Blog Talk's mistake, and this is what I got to say about it.
You know what? Fuck your mistake.
So there you go. Anyhow, we do have drops over here, too. So, but anyway, but getting to it, man, of 2014, we are going to start, for each card, probably pretty much every UFC on Fox, every televised card, which it's like they don't have any non-televised cards, but we're not going to worry about tough and all that kind of stuff, none of that. But we're gonna your main four picks per card. Pick your winners basically, and we basically our guideline is, our criteria is, you got to come out here and vote regularly. On LegalElbow.com, Legal Elbow Radio on Facebook, MMA Aftermath on Facebook. You got to at least send in your vote somehow. Everybody's on.
We'll probably post the four fights that we're going to be picking, so everybody's going to be picking the same thing, just to keep it easy for us to keep track of too,
Right. No, yeah, and that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work trying to keep track of all that shit during a whole year's time, but that's basically what we're looking at. Get your 4 picks in, probably main card picks. We're gonna, like Dan said, we're gonna pre-select some fights and pick your wins, and then at the end of the year, some bragging rights, stuff like that. We might throw in a Legal Elbow Radio T-shirt, something like that. It's kind of just some stuff we're looking to do. You know what I mean? So. We have no idea where it's going to go, but for right now, it's bragging rights. But what the hell's going on, Dan?
Oh, sorry, I was playing the replay for the Silver fight.
Sorry about that, dude. I blindsided you.
No, that's what that snap was. But anyway, yeah, it was a gruesome end, because they've used gruesome a lot, but it fucking was, It was gruesome and to a rather intense, action-filled, fucking badass night of fights, man. I have to give hats off to UFC And even at the end, even with the late break, it's the whole fucking MMA community and anybody else that was tuning in to maybe see a Brock sighting, everybody held their breath and said, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
If you weren't watching the replay, they only showed it once. So, there was probably a lot of people saying, what the F happened for a while there, because it was main event. This could have happened all the fucking time in this sport, and it happened in this fucking fight. That's what's, I don't know, it's just weird about it. I've heard people say fucking karma's a bitch, the karma kick. It's like, but, not fast forwarding too much into that, there was many other good fucking fights from that night. And if you want to kick off one of them, go for it, bro.
Cool, man. Cool. Let's, you know what? This is kind of a quick show for tonight. We're not looking to go too crazy with it, even though we might get in the heat of the moment. We might start talking about a lot of different things going on. But when you got, I'm pulling up a page here real quick. We got to have stuff to reference. So forgive me, but I'm getting to it. When you can talk about guys like, let's just start to kick it off. Let's go with the Leben fight, basically. Chris Leben, a lot of people respect him. I got a ton of respect for this guy. He's been in there a long time. Took on a newcomer, from the Tough Show. You're talking about a guy that's. What was the number? What they said at the beginning of the fight was you got a guy from Tough 1 taking on a guy from Tough 17. So, you know what I mean? There's a lot of experience difference between those two guys, you know what I mean? But so you got, just to throw it out there, man, just to kind of take a quick look at Chris Leben right now, man, on a 4-fight losing streak. If you want to count it as his last 6 fights, he's 1-5. He lost to Brian Stan. He beat Vanderlei Silva. Lost to Mark Munoz. Lost to Derek Brunson. What Derek Brunson's pretty impressive. Andrew Craig looked pretty impressive too. I think he's coming off a loss. Uriah Hall looked impressive too. He lost to one of the other guys on the Tough Show. Damn it, man, I can't remember his name. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but. Uriah Hall comes in here. Uriah Hall really, in my opinion, it kind of Dana made a good point in the post-fight conference, which if you haven't seen the 168 post-fight conference, go over and check it out. It's actually pretty good, pretty informative if you haven't seen it yet. There's a lot of questions that are asked and answered, that we needed to know about. So if you haven't seen it, man, go check it out. YouTube, you can probably find it anywhere, man. It's huge news, you know what I mean? It's huge news, big news. But Uriah Hall, in my opinion, would have been cut before Chris Leben would, because Chris Leben always brings it, but at the same time, Chris Leben's on a 4-fight losing streak. So maybe I'm completely ass backwards in saying that it could be. But Chris Leben...
Uriah Hall just solidified himself.
He really did. Going into this fight, that's kind of what I would say coming out of this fight. It's like, okay, Uriah Hall's, not necessarily on the map, but, he's got his eye on the map, I guess, And he looks really good, man. He looks really, really good. But, if you want to add something to that, man, by all means, man, we can,
I just want to add, what the fuck is Chris Leben still doing in UFC? I could have swore I heard about fucking Chris Leben fans and all this shit last night and shit. Come on, dude. What does this guy have to offer? You can fucking... He telegraphs his shit. He actually sends a telegram to his opponent before he throws a fucking punch. All right, he sends an email.
Right.
It's just, you see him loading up. You know what he's going to do. Uriah Hall maybe got caught once. He loads up kind of like Dan Henderson does. He wants to throw the knockout. There's no finesse. There's no wearing anybody down. You're going in, you're throwing your bombs, and you want to end it just like that. Well, guess what? When you can't end it like that and you constantly get your face fucking jabbed in because the guy's hitting you about 3 times before you get off, you're loaded up, throwing from your fucking back pocket, fucking shot. You know, it's the guy is now figured out. That's why he's losing so much. These guys fucking watch film. They watch film of a guy that is a fucking dinosaur in the world of MMA. It's time to go bye-bye. And you can say, oh, wasted talent, this and that. No, the guy has reached his crescendo like fucking back on Tough 3. And he's still around because I guess one of Dana's fucking boys or something. I don't know why. You know, this guy has nothing more to fucking offer. And I'm not just sitting here trying to bash Leben. I'm just stating a fucking fact. There's other fighters out there that deserve a chance. And you're still having fucking Chris Leben. Chris Leben, we should have already heard about it when we woke up this morning. Chris Leben was cut from the UFC. That's it. Done. Bye. You're done, D. I'm done, bro.
Yeah, no, I could really, really agree with that, too, because it's like, you know, I think this was one of those kind of matches where it's like, okay, Uriah Hall can crumble like he did before. You know, not crumble, but I mean, Kelvin Gastelum is the guy that beat Uriah Hall in Uriah Hall and Kelvin's debut. Kelvin had the total wrestling game. Was able to take Uriah Hall down pretty easy. Not play the kickboxing match with. If he played the kickboxing match, stand up, he may as well, you know, Gastelum might have got knocked the fuck out. Who knows? But Gastelum played it smart, being his debut, won that fight. Gastelum now is in the position to where he thinks he can call out certain fighters and shit like that. It's like, well, that's cool and everything, dude, but you're one fight inside of UFC. It doesn't mean you're calling out a bunch of guys. You know, especially, you know, bigger, you know, top guys and whatnot. Because he did make a call out for somebody. I can't remember who it is, but check out some news, man. Check out some news. You guys will see who I'm talking about. It's all over YouTube. He's calling out somebody, and like I said, I can't remember, but this is a great fight. It's a great opportunity for Chris Leben to at least get in there and put up a good fight and put on a good show like he normally does. I think that's what a lot of people like about him. He doesn't lay down, and you know he really does go in there. But at the same time, everybody that's out there training nowadays has trained so far past him that he's not even relevant anymore.
No, it's like, yeah, you can take a bunch of shots and your fucking iron chin, whatever. That's great, but didn't suit him well this time.
What's that?
I said it didn't serve him well this time.
Yeah, no, not at all, man, not at all. And it's like, you know, he goes back to his corner, takes a seat, and it's like, he was like, I'm fucking done, man. This is over. I just got the shit kicked out of me. You know, yeah. And that was round 1, right? It was the end of round 1.
That was right at the end of round 1 where he got sat on his fucking ass.
And it was 5. It took him 5 minutes to get finished. You know what I mean? For him to basically quit. You know what I mean? And like you said, I'm not bagging on the guy. The guy's 33 years old. He's been into a lot of wars. You know, we've seen other guys that are right around that age mark that have been in a ton of wars. You know, and they're not afraid to stick the neck out and take a few shots. You know what I mean? So in that respect, I got a lot of respect for the guy. He's, you know, done good, but it's like, you got to improve, man. These guys are training far past your abilities. You know, that's kind of like a Coleman way back when. You know, he just kind of became obsolete. You know.
Yeah, it really is, man. And the thing that really pisses me off, it's not Leben himself, because Leben's going to take the fucking opportunities that are presented to him. You know, I'm more pissed off at the UFC keeping him around when you got younger talent coming up. You know, locally in every local city across America, and you got a guy like you said. It's tough 17 right now. It's fucking tough 17 right now, and you got a guy from tough 1. The guy has not won anything he's on a major losing streak. Probably one of the, if not the most losses in a row right now. Pretty fucking close. I don't know anybody else that's got losses like that and still fucking hanging around. You know?
I think the only one, I'm sorry, I'm at a distance here, I apologize, but I think the only one was Tito Ortiz.
There you go, and that's basically Dana's boy.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a Dana Boy thing. If you're still hanging on Dana's belt loop and he's leading you around everywhere, then you're going to be in the UFC. Okay, as soon as he severs the belt loop, then I guess you're gone. But he's got the belt loop. He's still getting coddled and he's suckling or whatever. But he's still around. We got to see him come back in 3 more months to get his fucking head smashed in. Just we got to give him another chance because he was hurt in the first one. Well, he's not. No, it's not hurt. He just wasn't good enough. You're talking about the new breed taking out the old trash is what we fucking seen.
Yeah, it was not a pretty sight, man. Uriah Hall was in there and top notch, looking really good. And again, I'm excited to see where the guy goes, man. Really, to be honest with you, man, to put a cap on this. Because there's another fight coming up here.
I know, we're just like, we're going to make this a quick blog, and now we've always spent fucking 15 minutes on the Leben Uriah Hall fight.
Yeah, we've given it a good 16 minutes so far, man. But yeah, by all means. Dustin Poirier taking on Diego Brandao. Now, Dan, you kick this off because I think you got the best knowledge and the best idea of what you think happened coming into this fight.
Well, before I get into that, anybody that didn't really know these guys and was watching the highlights before this fight, and they were watching the Diego Brandao compared to the Dustin Poirier highlights, you would say Diego Brandao, fucking throwing from his back fucking pockets, knocking motherfuckers the fuck out. Looked in awesome shape. Every fucking highlight reel you seen. He came in on this one, looked like fucking DJ Penn, the fucking stuffed marshmallow man. He looked fucking bloated. He looked out. He lost his fucking some of his purse because he came in overweight. I heard Joe Rogan say something about a car accident. That's fine, but maybe he shouldn't have fought this fight. Maybe he should have waited and he would have took a loss he came in. He looked okay in the beginning, but you could clearly tell that he had some fucking trouble there. Maybe even towards the end of the first round with cardio issues. He just looked out of shape. I'm not saying he was hurt. I just think he was out of shape. I think if they fought again in fucking 3 months and he came back into his tip-top shape, I think it'd be a different fight. Right now, like I said, he should have took this fight off because it's wasted fucking talent, man. When you come in like that.
Yeah.
And I'd have to, I know Cormier, Daniel Cormier was doing a little nut hugging on Dustin, and disrespecting, saying that fucking Diego was disrespecting him by not coming in for weight. If it was, like I said, to take out all the questions and all the bullshit, don't say I'm not healthy enough to fucking fight. If that's the case, don't come in like this, because you just, like you did, you're going to get your fucking ass beat.
Damn sure, man. I mean, a couple things I can add to that are, they mentioned the car accident. Diego Brandao was involved in the car accident or something like that. It's as far as I know, it's speculation. You know what I mean? He didn't report anything. Nobody reported anything. People kept it quiet. I think Diego Brandao just said, you know what, fuck it, I'm going into this fucking fight as is. And I gotta respect him a little bit for that, because he's not fucking the card up. He's not, fucking UFC over, by saying, hey, I can't fight this fight, And he's also showing a respect to Dustin Poirier by coming into the fight. But at the pre-fight conference, the weigh-ins, Dustin Poirier mentioned at the post-fight that during the weigh-ins, I don't know if they had some kind of a rivalry or shit going on Twitter or whatever, or Tweeper or Sweeper or whatever, but Dustin Poirier was saying that Diego Brandao came up to him at the weigh-ins and said, kind of pushed him on the shoulder or whatever and said, blah blah blah. You think you're this and you think you're that. I'll cut your neck. What are you gonna do about it? Shit. And it's like, well, are you serious? I was stunned that he's like, this is what the guy said to me, and he actually had an impression of him and everything. It was actually kind of funny. But so then when he said that at the post fight, that's what he said to me at the weigh-ins. I was like, this is fucking amazing. I'm like, I couldn't believe that Diego Brandao would go there and say that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it was real. Maybe he's a guy like what's that? I don't know. I don't even remember the guy's fucking name. Falco. Falco was a real asswipe. Throwing cheap shots in fights and shit, and just completely disrespecting fighters. Maybe Diego Brandao behind the scenes is one of them kind of guys. Or maybe he wanted to fucking get inside Dustin Poirier's head and intimidate a little bit because he thought,
Are you talking maybe he's like a Ronda Rousey?
Maybe. Who knows?
With the disrespecting.
But I think up to this point, I think, like you mentioned, Diego Brandao is not a joke. I mean, this guy, we've already seen it. This guy's a serious threat to, all of the top guys, and serious threat to the belt holder, in my opinion. I mean, the guy's only getting better every time we see him, but we see guys like this, at the top, have a bad day. We've seen Shogun have a bad day. We've seen Machida have a bad day. We've seen Anderson have a bad day. All these guys have, Bendo, you know what I mean? Ben Henderson, we've seen him have a bad day. You know what I mean? All these guys have bad days, man. It's just like any other job. They have bad days. It happens. Diego Brandao had a bad day. It's just, I'm not going to, but Dustin Poirier rise to the occasion, and whether Diego Brandao was having a bad day or not, look at Dustin Poirier look good. And I don't want to take a lot away from Dustin Poirier as we're making excuses for Brandao, but I do want to see this fight again. You know what I mean? I hope they do put it on again in a couple of months, so Brandao can get... But maybe, at the same time, maybe give Diego Brandao a different kind of fight, to work his way up to a Poirier. Because I think Poirier looks really good. I think Poirier took this completely seriously and came in and did really well. I think he did really good. Even though, in the first round, he took some serious shots. A Brandao that came in overweight, didn't look as sharp as he normally did, still caught Dustin Poirier a couple times in the first round. I mean, hey, man, you can't take too much away from the guy. You know what I mean? So Dustin Poirier looked good, but he still got caught a couple of times with some nasty shots, but he was able to
weather the storm.
Yeah, absolutely. Weather a bit of a storm and make it happen, really. You know what I mean? It's a good win for him. Great win for him. But yeah, by all means, man, fucking put a cap on it and we'll move on.
Yeah, he needs, like I mentioned, I just don't become a waste of talent, man. Because you had the world by the balls before this fight, really. Everybody picking you to go all the way. You come out, you lay a fucking... You got bad days, but... I'm going to say it one more time. The guy should not have fucking fought in this fight. I don't care what you... Should not have fought, but...
I think it happens.
Well, I think we'll see a better Diego next fight,
No, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, man. I think we'll see a better Diego Brandao, and I'm sure we'll probably see these guys fight again, if not, similar competition on their way back up, so. But by all means, man, shit. Next up, Jim Miller taking on Fabricio Camoes. We're going to get to that in 1 second here, but I want to let you guys know, man, IllegaleElbowRadio.com, MMA Aftermath on Facebook. Stop on by, people. Say hi to Dan, MMA Aftermath. Get yourself knowledge on Detroit fighters. If you're a Detroit fan, by all means, man, that's the place to go to get talking to Detroit fighters. Get the gist of what's going on, man. So, like I said, man, very impressive. Went in there looking really good. Camoes looked great, man. Jim Miller looked great. Jim Miller just capitalized and seized the moment, man. Really, man. But cut it up, dude.
Yeah, fucking Miller, fucking imposing. I would have to say just more powerful is what I've seen. He's just more powerful of a guy. Imposing his will. I came in seeing him, going the distance, playing it safe, but he brought it to him, man. He brought it to him, fucking took him out, and beat him in his own fucking game, basically.
Yeah. It was pretty sick, man. Pretty sick. Fabricio Camoes is no joke. You know what I mean? And Jim Miller's...
Just before you get going, it's harder for a jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. They'd rather get knocked out than have to tap. It's
a thing of
honor, not in their makeup, but yeah.
No, you're right.
That's what he was, because you could see he was really pissed off about it.
Yeah. And it's just, to me, it's like, man, Jim Miller is a kind of guy that, he has them hiccups, like we talked about Brandao. Jim Miller has them hiccups every now and then. But it's like Jim Miller is one of them opponents that you can get him in there with a top guy and he will crush him. But you can get him in there with a, top 12 or top 14, 15, and he might have a hard time. It's just certain matchups really hurt Jim Miller, but other matchups, it's like, this guy could be top 5. Jim Miller would take his ass out. You know what I mean? Jim Miller's just a tough guy. Kind of a without trying to disrespect him or anything, man. He's kind of a hit or miss. It's I would say it's a little bit of hit or miss going on there. But I'm as always, man. I'm thoroughly impressed by him. Impressed by his performance, what he brings. You know what I mean? So I think his last nasty loss was to Pat Healy, and then Pat Healy, busted dirty. Drop dirty, so, it's... But anyhow, man, I'm interested to see what's next for Jim Miller. Definitely, I couldn't make a call to who he's going to fight next, but if you want to,
before we go into the top 3, I just want to go back a little bit and talk about the Michael Johnson versus Gleison Tibau match,
Yeah.
Johnson... To me, it looks like Tibau has a problem with, he's got power and stuff, but going against a quicker guy and a good striker like Michael Johnson, it was just a bad matchup, I guess. Michael Johnson fucking got out of the way of everything he needed to get out of the way from and just fucking punished him, and then basically finally landed that fucking left solid, and that was it. It was a well thought out, and he didn't fucking make any mistakes, and just beat him to the fucking punch and knocked him the fuck out. So,
yeah.
It was a great win by Michael Johnson, but I didn't mean to go back too far, but I just thought that was a good stepping stone for Michael Johnson right there.
No, great point, man. A great fight, too, man. It was, Gleison Tibau is always the kind of guy that if you get an up-and-comer in there, somebody that's, knocking on the door of a 12 or even a top 10, you know what I mean? Knocking on the door and ready to bring it. He's a good guy to throw him in there against, you know what I mean? And I didn't doubt Tibau through the whole fight, you know what I mean? But Michael Johnson, like you said, man, he fucking brought it, man. Brought it. And this guy looks better and better every time out. His last fight was Joe Lozon, right?
Yeah, oh.
That was...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what happened? It's like something about Joe Lozon that night. See, that's what I think. Same with the...
Like he came out of a meat grinder.
Yeah, and it's like that fight right there tells me that matchups are really, I would say, in a percentage game, matchups are probably 40% of it, man. Who you're matched up against, and how you combat them.
Well, another thing is, Michael Johnson's not going to he's not going to really hurt anybody with his kicks, He'll get him in there to maybe irritate you.
Yeah.
But his deal is fucking southpaw, going to land that moneymaker left, dude. He's going to slip that fucking left in. He had 2 fucking southpaws in there stepping at each other's toes. Gleison Tibau he's got a huge upper body, but hey, we've seen it before. When you got a big upper body, you're going to be slower.
Yeah. Yep.
You're going to kind of be lumbering like a Hulk almost.
Yeah. No, it's a great win for him, though, man. It's like he's coming off a couple of good wins, man. It's exciting to see where he's going. He mentioned he had some training with Rashad Evans. You know, and it's like all I did was I just picked Rashad's brain the whole time, man. The whole time we were there, you know, hanging out with Rashad and you know, some other fighters and stuff like that. He's like, the whole time I pick his brain. Every moment I get with the guy, I'm picking his brain, trying to find out the new stuff that I can do, and we train different things. He's like, it's just a good time to really gain knowledge. You know what I mean? It's like, hey man, right now Rashad Evans looks fucking badass in my opinion. I think he looks great. He just crushed. He crushed Sonnen. I mean, just crushed his
he
ass.
fucking sent his ass in retirement, dude.
Sonnen should be done. Sonnen wants to be a politician. He should pretty much get on that. So
yeah, he can work better with his mouth than his fist, for damn sure.
Yeah, by all means, man. There's the politician for you. All mouth, and that's it. But I'm ready to take a break, man. If you're ready for it, take a quick.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break, people. We'll come back to the top three.
Top three coming up right at you, man. We are ready to do top three. We'll be right back. All right, people, we're taking a quick break here, man. We will be right back. But meantime, I want to give you a little history. Dan and myself, way back in the day, we've always gotten into a lot of boxing matches, you know, heavyweight boxing, stuff like that, Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, you know, those kind of fights. We always look forward to, you know, big guys, big heavyweight guys going at it. Thus, you know, why my homepage, LegalLevelRadio.com, is kind of, I call it the home for heavyweights. So, you know, 93, 94, Dan and I really started getting into UFC, man. We saw some of the first tournaments and stuff like that way back when, and we were hooked at the rights, man. So we started really getting into it, and started doing the show about 4 years ago. Here we are, 2013, kicking ass, still doing it. So, but we will be back shortly, man. So hang out and pull up a chair, grab a cigarette, grab whatever you're drinking, man, and here's a toast. We'll be back in just a minute. People, we are back. Legal Elbow Radio in the house. MMA Aftermath on Facebook, man. Head over there. Detroit fighters all over the place. I'm getting back to it. We're getting to the top fighters of UFC 168.
Yep.
Definitely excited to get to these three fights, man, because, you know, and I was at a standstill for a minute there, man, because it's like, man, where do you start? You know, but man, by all means, dude, kick us off. Travis Browne, Josh Barnett. Kick off your thoughts on that, man. I have a couple things to say on that myself.
Coming in, even them going up to the ring, we've seen a purpose on both their faces, but I did not see the scale and the difference of size between fighters until the fight had started and Josh Barnett tried to take Travis Browne down. I don't know if Travis Browne's training a little extra, but this is the best shape I've seen Travis Browne in. The dude is a fucking monster. You know, he's towering over the top of the cage before the fight. You're just like, dude, this dude's enormous. You know, 6'7", 6'8". You know, you got a 6'7", 6'8" guy, you know, Stefan Struve, but he's all knees and elbows. You know, he's a rack of bones.
He's lanky. Yeah.
On the other hand, we got Rick Shithouse, which is like a Junior Dos Santos, put about 4 or 5 more inches on that, you know, height-wise. Okay, this guy is a wrecking machine. You know, even when Josh Barnett was blocking with his arms, it was like those it was ricocheting off of his arms and throwing Josh Barnett forearms back into Josh Barnett's fucking side of his head and causing a little bit of damage, or, you know, to the point where Josh Barnett's fucking scrambling, you know.
Yeah.
Scrambling, trying to get him against the fence, and just basically, I seen a little bit of panic there when he felt the fucking power of Travis Browne. And I think Travis Browne right now has to be considered a top contender in the heavyweight division, bar none. This guy has the punching power to knock anybody the fuck out. Now, I know at the end of the fight there was question. Was it another cheap-ass shot, you know, stop it, or was it another cheap-ass win like he had against Gabe Gonzaga? That could be up for debate, you know, really. Because there was some illegal blows in there, but for the most part, I think, you know, it was pretty legit behind the ears. Josh Barnett was just in a bad way, man. You know, Josh Barnett could not have his way against a guy that was actually bigger than Josh Barnett. You know, Josh Barnett's not really used to that. Josh Barnett's a pretty sizable guy himself. You know, and he can usually have his way when he gets his wrestling and throwdowns and takedowns and shit like that. He wasn't having his way this time. If they were to go back and fight again, I think it would be the same outcome. Maybe not. It would be the same outcome as a victory, you know, but maybe not in the same manner. But I just think Travis Browne is like the new up-and-comer, fresh blood, you know, in the fucking heavyweight division, dude. I'm excited to see his next fight.
Oh, yeah, for sure, dude. It's like, you know what, I could see after this, maybe Travis Browne, Mark Hunt. You know, it could happen, you know, but he might even be a little further up, you know, up the scale up there. You know what I mean? Might maybe, which they talked about, the winner of this fight gets a shot at Verdum. You know, and I wouldn't even be, I'd be pretty excited about that because I think Verdum's been out so long, he doesn't get a title shot. Sorry, dude. No. You've been out of the game for so long, you don't get a title shot. Sorry, that's just my opinion.
Time to work your way back up the fucking ladder, dude.
Yeah. What have you been doing? Been fucking sitting around eating bonbons? What the fuck are you doing? You know, I mean, a lot of people, you know, that listen to the show and know where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the point of, okay, if you're going to sit ass around and not do anything, you know, and you're just in the fight game just to get a paycheck, you know, a couple times a year, you're not going to get very high on my list because my list is based on who you fight, your activity, and your
opponents,
your quality of opponent. So if your ass is not in there, I mean, Verdum's already fallen in my list a little bit because he's out of, you know, whether he's injured or not, he's out of commission. He's nowhere to be found. Get your fucking ass into training and get moving because right now you're a top dude. You're a top dog right now. You got no reason to not be in there fighting. This is horse's ass. This is bullshit. Right now, what they talked about, like I said, man, it was mentioned. You know, the winner of this fight could get a shot at Fabricio Verdum. You know, Dana White said it himself. That's a really good possibility. We're looking at that right now. You know, rather than a title shot, they get a shot at Fabricio Verdum because Fabricio Verdum, which I think, respectively, Fabricio Verdum has been out so long. It's like, no, you don't get a title shot. You've been snoozing. So I think that's a great idea. Travis Browne, Verdum, fucking make it happen, man. Make it happen.
Let's roll.
But
if it's not that, it's fucking Hunt, maybe.
Yeah, Hunt's a good gamer. Junior Dos Santos would be a good one. You know, Junior Dos Santos doesn't deserve a shot at the title again. Not for a little bit, in my opinion. No, I'm talking like a couple years down the road here, man. You know.
Yeah, you're talking about 2-3 fights.
I want to see what Travis Browne could do against a guy like Junior Dos Santos. Though I think Junior Dos Santos might wreck him.
That would be a fucking monumental. Oh, I wouldn't miss that fight for the world.
No, I would be front and center for that shit, and I'd be all over it.
Two fucking colossal fucking titans, really.
Absolutely, man.
2 fucking 6 foot 6.5 plus fucking dudes, you know.
Yeah, what is it, 6'7" and 6'4"?
Yeah.
So Junior DeSantis would be giving up a couple inches of height, you know, and maybe a little bit of reach. But I think they're pretty even in weight. They're not too far off in weight. So, I mean, I think the power punching is going to be there, man, for both sides.
It's like granite versus brimstone, you know?
Yeah. Who's going to bring the hellfire, you know? So, but yeah, we're down to just about 4 minutes, man, for this broadcast. So, man, let's, if you want to throw out a couple...
I just want to touch on fucking the Rousey Tate. I give fucking Tate major fucking props for hanging in there, because it looked like Rousey with her mouth open at the end of the fucking first round in the corner, looking like she was going to take this fight in fucking 1 round or maybe early second, but was in a fucking all-out brawl with a chick that wasn't going to fucking give up or give in any time, you know, early in that fight. She was in for one hell of a fucking fight, and I give major warrior status to Tate, and I hope she stays in the game. Maybe needs to bulk up a little or change weight classes, but honey, you did a damn good job. And fuck Rousey, she's just a spoiled ass fucking bitch brat.
Yeah. It's good. I can't really add a whole lot to that, man. You pretty much took the words out of my mouth, man. A great job by Tate. Rousey, I got a little more respect for Rousey, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? She, you know, some people were saying, hey, can you bury the hatchet? You know what I mean? What big deal, you know? Because she, you know, ran away with the handshake, you know. She didn't handshake with Miesha Tate and all that shit. And she seems to think that Miesha Tate owes her some kind of an apology to her family or whatnot. It's like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, and I'm going to say it again. You know, we're down to a couple minutes, but I'm going to say it again. Ronda Rousey is this kid that was a yes kid. Oh, you're doing a great job. You're a fantastic child. You're doing a great job. Everything you're doing is fantastic. You know, and then so when she gets out in the real world and she realizes, you know what, there's some adversity here, she fucking crumbles and she gets all upset.
Or when she was a kid, Mommy, I want this. Oh, yes, dear. Mommy, I want this. Yes, dear. I want to go here. Okay, hon.
Right.
Okay, row.
You get every fucking thing she wants, you know, and she's basically got yes parents. So
I can see fucking, you know, flailing onto the ground, kicking and screaming, doing the temper tantrum thing, beating the ground and kicking.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Tough, whatever, what is Tough 16, 17, whatever the fuck it was, because I'm not into Tough enough to know, but I did watch a few of those episodes. You watch that chick, more than a few actually. I probably watched about 8 or 9 of them out of all of them, but if you watch that chick, she does pull some of that crap. But man, Dan, let's fucking get into the main one, man. We're down to about a minute and a half, man. Let's put
the snap heard around the world. Fucking, I don't see, a lot of people are calling saying that Spider's retiring. I see Spider trying to prove everybody wrong, coming back maybe in a year or so, year and a half. But great fucking fight. It was a, you know, gruesome ending, but, you know, a lot of people seen that and were like, you know, what the fuck. It was very shocking, dude, but it was a great night of fights.
Great night of fights, man. Awesome night. I mean, ended it with devastation. A lot of people really upset about it. Anderson Silva, nothing to prove, man, in my opinion. Still the GOAT. Still the GOAT. 33-6 record. Nothing to be upset about. But you know what? He's a fighter kind of guy. Seeing him coming back, you know, it's a good possibility. But if he doesn't, I'm not gonna be upset about it. It's like, man, you've done your shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Weidman doesn't want to fight you again. I guarantee that. If he didn't break his leg, Chris Weidman would have been in a lot of trouble. So I mean, and there's 2 reasons.
It was a good fight, dude. It was turning out to be a damn good fight.
Yeah, and a lot of props to Chris Weidman, man. I don't take anything away from that guy. The guy earned where he's at, and we'll see what Chris is made of, man. Well, we're down to like 10 seconds, so.
Hey, man, thanks for joining us, people.
Hell yes.
We're gonna put the podcast up, everything. Spreaker's our new home. Fuck Blog Talk.
Fuck Blog Talk.
You know what? Fuck your mistake.